Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel. Got another quick video for you today highlighting a sortie on Contention Cold War. It's in Era 1, meaning early Fox 2 missiles only, 9B and R3S, and I'm in the MiG-21 for a change rather than the MiG-19, which is what I usually prefer in Era 1. The reason for that is that the map is on Caucus, and honestly, Contention Cold War Caucus scenario is probably my least favorite online PvP map or scenario, and it's not even close. There's nothing inherently wrong with the Caucus map, other than it just being a bit old. It's just that Contention have this set up as a very small scenario in the south of the map between Sochi and Batumi, meaning both sides are basically fighting over 4 or 5 airfields, all within a 10-minute flight time. To say that it's cramped would be an understatement. It's basically aerial trench warfare because you just have no option other than to charge into the face of the enemy. As to why the MiG-21 and not the 19, it's all to do with speed. With the small distances between airfields, I'm finding that the 19 is struggling to catch F4s and Viggens running in at Mach Jesus and trying to hit our FARPs. The 19 is great until about 500 knot and then really struggles over that at sea level, whereas the F4s and Viggens usually run in at 600 plus knots, meaning it's hard to catch them and hit them before they can ripple off all of their Mavericks at our FARPs. The greater transonic supersonic acceleration of the 21 and the greater magazine depth with twice as many missiles also really helps with interceptions. The other reason I hate this Caucus map on Contention is that it's basically one big airquake. So as soon as you get more than 10 people on the server, essentially you either start to get third-partied or you end up third-partying other people. This sortie you're about to see is a perfect example of that, and in this case I was the perpetrator, but it's happened to me enough times that I didn't feel too bad about it. But third-partying people just doesn't feel as satisfying as comprehensively outflying them and then killing them like I did in the Viggen in my last video. So with the preamble out of the way, I'll brief you on the situation. I've taken off from Sukhumi and headed east to the front line near FARP 3. Fergs is in JTAC telling me there's multiple engagements in front of me, and on radar I can see multiple contacts, both friend and foe, so I've got to be careful about target selection. Between Ferg's call out and visual ID, I confirm that the contact going up is a bandit and follow him up, hoping to get a shot at him as he runs out of energy at the top of his climb. I Fox 2, and my first thought is it's too far away, the missile won't hit, but surprisingly it connects and splash F5. That guy had no idea I was there, so I'm sure it was frustrating for him, and it also highlights why climbing in these situations can be so dangerous. I then start turning to acquire the next target. EWR is reporting at least 3 bandits within a mile of me, so it's a dangerous situation, but lots of targets. I spot an F5 chasing a frogfoot above me and decide to risk climbing to help out the frogfoot. I go over the top of the F5 and start coming down behind him, but it looks like I might be too late to save the frogfoot, unfortunately. There's also another friendly chasing the F5, so I need to be very careful about target selection. I managed to eventually get a lock and get a missile off. Again, I think it might be too far, but the missile reaches, so 2 for 2, splash F5. Because EWR is showing at least 2 more fighters within a mile of me, I keep turning while I try to look for them. I then spot an F4 as I'm turning, manage to get tone on him and Fox 2. This missile is also a little optimistic, and unlike the first 2, this one doesn't connect. I then get tone again and decide to risk firing another missile, but honestly I'm not sure why, because there was almost 0 chance of it tracking a target that's turning this hard. This F4 seems to be chasing a friendly Mirage, and at the moment he seems preoccupied with him, but he does seem to be desyncing a lot all over the place, which is annoying as hell and worrying considering I'm going to have to gun him since I'm out of sticks now. The F4 and the Mirage are turning pretty hard, which means I'm struggling to keep up with them without pulling too hard and burning all of my energy. At this point, I'm pretty sure the F4 doesn't know I'm there, as he seems to be completely focused on the Mirage. At this point, I think I see an opportunity and decide to cash in some energy by pulling him into the HUD for a shot, but I don't really accomplish much other than to stall a wing, as you saw from all the bouncing, and probably alert the F4 to my presence. At this point, I catch a break and he starts to climb, so I sense that there may be an opportunity developing here, and sure enough, the sun makes it hard for a shot, but I manage to land some hits on him and take his wing off, so splash F4. I immediately dive down for safety in case someone is following, pop a few flares, and I confirm I'm out of missiles. At that point, I drop my pylons to minimize drag because my plan now is basically to hightail it out of there to the west and back to the safety of Sukumi. That last kill was definitely a lot more satisfying than the first two, primarily because that F4 almost certainly knew I was there and was trying to defend. But overall, this video gives the full Caucus Contention Cold War experience. It's basically a bar brawl, and most of the time you have no idea who killed you because it almost certainly isn't the guy that you were focused on fighting. So that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching, folks, and see you in the next video, hopefully.